Good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday, June 2nd, 2025. Do we have a breakout coming here soon? And are we coiled up for trend? We've got jobs this week, so we have catalysts. We also can talk about Powell, some rumors surrounding that nothing burger. But first, if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Drop me a like, helps out a lot. Appreciate it. Also, come find me on carnivoretrades.com. If you like catching trend moves, for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading, which we are in the midst of catching one right now. Had a good day, another good day here in the trading room, basically catching the low of the day this morning. But nonetheless, let's get into it here. So we had a little gap down, bought, a little shakeout, and then basically just kind of trend for the majority of the day. There was rumors about Powell being, resigning. Listen, I can understand if you're new, if you believed that, but if anybody who's like a veteran of the market, you should not. All you had to do is take one look at ZT, and you can tell right now the 2-year yield is, green on the day, right? So that makes no sense. That was never going to happen. Essentially, the thought was that, oh, he's going to step down, right? So Trump's going to get his guy in. If that's going to be the case, then there's certainly going to be inside info. And what I would do if I had the inside info, if I was, had my ear in the West Wing, I would go max leverage long on ZT because that would essentially be a rate cut, right? It's been red all day. It's literally trending red, right? So, yeah, that was never going to happen. Nonetheless, though, this market is coiled for trend. We've been talking about this. We've been talking about the shot clock winding down on bears, and it's basically expired at this point. It's rapidly declining. Now, that said, I don't think we'd necessarily have to break out right here. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see another shakeout or two. You kind of seeing the writing on the wall here now with the structure. We talked about this last week too. I said, what if we just come in, on Friday and we put in an inside hammer, right? I said we would likely test 58.50. We did. When we did that, now you got another inside bar building up here. You got the ES, essentially an inside pattern as well. And the same thing on the weekly. Very strong above the moving averages. Trend is up. Don't fight it. That's the the bottom line. NQ. Look at how tight. I mean, this is a beautiful setup right here. I don't know how you can call this bear setup here. Right? There's really no way to paint that bear. So sometimes when you get these patterns here, they can, like you get one of these, right? Everybody jumps on the breakout, and you can get a shakeout and a reversal. I think that's possible. It's likely. We got jolts tomorrow. We got ADP Wednesday, jobless claims Thursday, and of course non-farm payroll Friday. So there's catalysts for maybe another shakeout. Is that shakeout going to take us down hard? I don't think so. Usually that's not what happens. And it also could, we also could just break out from here. The pattern is good. It's strong. The trend is up. We're fighting off bad news. So yeah, we're probably going to see all-time highs pretty soon. Really only like 3% away. So nonetheless, here market is holding up well. We finally trying to hold a little bit above 5,900. That 590 area on SPY has just been an absolute sticking. It just has been a stubborn magnet for a long time here. And but that's just kind of how bases work, and we get stuck to these magnets and then we move away. So consolidation, compression leads to expansion. If we look at the BB width, I think we talked about this last week. It's starting to tighten up on the daily, but intraday 4-hour, this is ready to go here. So we might need to do a little bit more on the daily. And again, like I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of another fake move, a revert, a retrace tomorrow, but. Again, the clock's ticking here. So anyway, market acting well here. I think there's a lot of plays that could catch up too, like an Apple. Again, this just kind of reversed in April, retested the monthly 50, and I've traded Apple a long time, and when it lags for too long, it's usually due to catch up. You also got some other areas here, like even stocks like Starbucks I was looking at. A lot of these stock, UPS is another one. Actually traded this not that long ago. Made some money on that little gap up. But these things that haven't followed through off the lows, Target, sometimes they can take a while. Look at these like monthly levels here, right? This is a big level. It doesn't always just react right away. The UNH we talked about, I still have a runner in that. These laggards here, and these are big companies. When they catch up, I think that can really be the catalyst to get us to those fresh highs here. So it's just something to keep an eye on, buying quality names that are still discounted. I mean, there's still, if you missed the dip buy in April, there's names out here. I just gave you like 3 or 4. There's names that you can look at that are, quality. And yeah, even XLV, I still like a lot of these healthcare stocks. And this is at the April level, so you're getting a chance to buy this down here. So anyway, just some food for thought there. QQQ again acting well. IWM was a little weak early. I will say there was a minor red flag this morning, and that was that banks were really weak, specifically banks, home builders, and transports. They did come off the lows though, and there was a little volume behind it. But you can see here you do have higher lows on KRE. You got it on KBE as well. XHB does not, but it's working on a higher low, and it held 92.50. And the transports here, came back and held the trend line again, also a higher low there. The only reason I say that is red flags because banks were involved, but I have not seen those 3 sectors lead to the downside before at the same time, and this kind of came after that like tariff stuff was shoved in last Friday. So just something to watch if it becomes a theme. Also breadth at the time, we only had 80 advancers. It's better now. Again, is that enough to erase and reverse everything else I just said? No, but if banks show weakness and they're selling with volume, yeah, you should pay attention to that. If that becomes a theme, one day it doesn't really matter. So anyway, Dow here again, same kind of consolidation patterns of Russell and everything else. SMH, this kept us on the long side this morning too. Look at this pattern here. When we were selling off, SMH did not even break the inside bar. SMH leads. It's bullish. We stayed long. Actually, we just bought the dip again essentially, and it worked out. IGV again, very strong consolidation pattern. This is getting ready to trend as well. Transports here still got the inside bar, which we talked about. Rates were up a lot today. And I think this is going to be the wall of worry. This is going to be the next pain trade. Oh, rates are going up. That means the market's got to crash. It does not mean that. It's never meant that. Don't think that. If anybody's telling you that, they're they either don't know or they don't care. So that's just as simple as that. This is still a bullish chart on the 30-year. But again, they try to. People are making it out like we're Venezuela, and we might be on the path to that, but that could take 100 years. Everyone else's bond market is much worse than ours. So these guys are just fighting the tape essentially. You can acknowledge that this is a possible risk here, but this is a bull pattern here. So until that breaks down, with volume, then don't fight it. Volume's light today. This is bears need that volume. But anyway, so rates were up. It's kind of a non-event right now. XHB again held 92.50. VNQ stayed inside at the end of the day. So this did dip this morning, but it came back nicely. XLF dipped this morning as well, but again, tight little inside bar there on the daily. And Goldman, like broker dealers, Morgan Stanley, these names were they held up well. XBD's fine. Oil got a nice bid this morning, but again, somebody just is desperately selling at 64. So we know where the shorts are going to get squeezed if it gets through that. It doesn't look bad here. So oil held up. XLE, not the greatest. I mean, with oil up as much as it came off the highs, I want to see it clear that 50 MA to really confirm some strength here. And XOP is in better shape. I'd like to see it reclaim like 125 or so. OIH really needs that 50 MA reclaim too. Gas also up today too, up 7%. Big move for Natty. Metals up also with the tariff news on Friday. Gold up 2.6. Silver up 5.3. Impulse there. Let's see if it gives us one more pullback. We'll see. I don't know if it's done enough to get through that, but we'll find out soon. It's got volume behind it. What I do like, and we talked about this a week or two ago, SIL was leading. Remember the higher highs I talked about? Up 6.5. That's new highs for SIL, new multi-year highs. SILJ lagging though. But GDX again, GDXJ. So that's good. It's good to see that confirmation. Platinum is bouncing off our little trend line here. But we need to see more here. I need to see more. Palladium curling up as well. Again, I'm not enthralled with either of them. Copper up 3.75, but closing back below 490. You know, the likely scenario here is probably higher highs, higher low combo. Again, I just don't see anything like worth trading here setup wise. But I'll cover it because it's copper. Bitcoin not really participating. Actually was getting a bid a minute ago. Actually, it looks like it's coming back in. So it's kind of pinned down a little bit. You know, again, like we talked about, it was up 7 weeks in a row into an all-time high, and it basically closed right at the previous kind of closing high. Right, we could never really get through this area on a closing basis on a daily, and that's where it closed the week. So, you know, is it like strong here right now? Well, from a technical position, yeah, it is. But you know, a down week last week when the market was holding up, and it's a down day today when the market is rallying. So a little bit of a divergence there, but again, it was up a lot, right? So we'll give it some time here. If it just shakes this off and reclaims 105, 106, and you know, just bases, you know, puts in a base here, it'll be fine. But yeah, we start seeing, you know, volume sells, wide range candles, then we know that there's more selling pressure involved. So I wouldn't throw in the towel on it just yet. But yeah, market's holding up well. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Again, I'm not so sure we're gonna just trend right here, but this may be the start of it. So these flag patterns are complex. They shake out. You know what it reminds me of a lot, I was talking about this morning in the trading room. It's 2023, right? In fact, let's go to SPY. So you can see the gaps that everybody's whining about, right? Oh, we have to fill the gap. We have to fill the gap. And then we just didn't. But it's kind of like this, right? Where we consolidated for like a month and we tried to break out. We tried to break out. And then it finally did. The gap, the gap, the gap. And then, you know, we're just kind of basing here. We tried to break out. You know, if you look at ES, you can see, right, that failed breakout from, what was it, Thursday or whatever. Yeah, so maybe we have a little bit more of that, but I wouldn't fight this here unless there's an absolute like mega failure. So, anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here again. You guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.